One of the criticisms many people make against the Bible is that it depicts God in male terms.
Yeah, God is a woman, she's feminine, she should be seen in a feminine way for many reasons. And I'm going to prove in this video that everything you say is a bunch of bullshit. And I'm going to try and prove or convince the watcher that God should actually be seen as a woman because that is better for the planet.
The most obvious example is God is referred to as he. Why did the Bible do this? Well, here's the answer. Because the Bible is preoccupied with making a kinder, less violent, more just world.
Are you kidding me? Seriously, you gotta be joking. The amount of murder and wars and chaos, sending lots of plagues, frogs, deaths, warts, locusts, leading people into the desert to starve, feeding them nothing but manna, telling the Levites to kill 3,000 of their own brothers and sisters, promising to give them the promised land, but saying that you can only do that if you kill the people that are currently living in that land. And, terrible, terrible things. Believe me, the Bible does anything but create a better world. The God of the Bible wants to murder and kill as many people as possible. And he does it in the name of love, because that's the kind of God that he is.
If you share these goals, and I suspect you do, then you'll have to agree the Bible made the right decision. Before I explain, however, I need to add an obvious caveat. The God of the Bible is neither male nor female. God transcends gender. What I'm talking about here is why God is depicted in male terms in the Bible. Gender-wise, the Bible had three choices: masculine, he; feminine, she; or neuter, it. We can readily rule out neuter. For one thing, neuter nouns don't exist in Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament, which, after all, first introduced this God to us. For another, the biblical God is a personal God to whom we can and must relate.
So the males who wrote the book wanted to relate their God to themselves, so called them a male. Okay, is that really a good reason why God should be a male? To be similar to males of the past? You know, the people who wrote the books were probably just psychotics that believed that they could talk to God when they couldn't. And yeah, a lot of them went to war. So we need a God that relates to those type of people. Males, of course, only. I mean, who wants to relate to a woman of the past? Oh, come on, they were nothing. They didn't start wars, they didn't rape people, they didn't go off and murder people's children. So yeah, no, we don't want God to relate to that image. No, it has to be a male only.
And we cannot relate to, let alone obey or love, an it.
And we know that women and it's pretty much the same thing, you just ignore them. A woman shouldn't teach or speak, that's what we believe, right?
Aside from the language issue, the Bible depicts God in masculine terms because, 1, the Hebrew Bible's primary concern is making a good world.
Yeah, let's kill all the Egyptians, let's kill all the Amorites. Levites, kill your brothers and sisters. Aaron, I'm gonna kill your 2 children. I'll starve your people in the desert for 40 years. And then I'll feed you crows. And then I'll kill anyone that eats the crows. Then I'll send some snakes down to bite you. And anyone that gets bitten will die. You must kill the king of Sharon and all his men. Then you must go off and do the same to other kings, such as Bashan, the Midianites, Evi, Remik, Zer, Her, Reber. I don't know if I'm saying these names right, but yeah, kill all the kings and all their people. You must kill anyone that lives in Jericho. Oh, except for that prostitute Rahab. She can survive. David, storm into Jerusalem and kill anyone that lives there. Take all their virgins and force them into marriage. Enslave everyone and kill anyone that resists. This is the world of the Bible. It's very good, isn't it?
The Hebrew Bible's primary concern is making a good world.
It's great if you hate people and want them all to die. Oh, and we know that a woman can't make a good world.
The Bible depicts God in masculine terms because the Hebrew Bible's primary concern is making a good world.
I mean, why would a woman be able to make a good world? No, it has to be a male, because only a male can make a good world. And they do it by killing everyone else, so that there's no one left. Then the world is perfect.
2, a good world can only be achieved by making good people.
I mean, come on, why would a woman be able to make a good person? No, only males can make a good person, Take the Bible as an example, all the males in it are just so lovely and charming. They don't force their wife/sister to go off and marry a pharaoh like Abraham. They don't rape their sisters like David's brother. They don't slaughter thousands of people like Moses and his people. They don't go around Egypt collecting up the wealth of the people until the people have nothing to, and then force those people to go off and sell their land and their selves in order to feed themselves, like Joseph did. No, only a male God can make a good person. And your male God has done such an amazing job. Just read the Bible and see how amazing his people are.
And 3, the people who commit nearly all the world's violence are males. Therefore, it is in both men's and women's interests to depict God in the masculine.
Because...
the people who commit nearly all the world's violence are males.
And that's the type of God you want to worship. Great. I just hope he causes you nothing but problems. That's the message that the goddess wants to give you. I mean, if males commit all the world's problems, then why would you want God to be female? You want God to be depicted as a male so that he can cause all the world's problems.
Here's why. Without a father or some other male rule giver, young men are likely to do great harm. If there is no male authority figure to give a growing boy rules, it is very difficult for him to control his wilder impulses.
If you think guys wouldn't listen to a god if she was a female, then all I can say is that you need to train them to listen to a goddess. Because maybe then they'll have more respect for their mothers. Train them to respect women, look after them, and also listen to them if they're telling you that you're doing something wrong. Why? Because there's a very good chance that they are actually doing something wrong. And if they learn to listen to them, then maybe they would change. And if they don't want to, then I don't care if you go off and kill each other. Because clearly there's something very wrong with you. If you think that I'm not capable of telling males not to kill people because it's wrong, and if you think they won't listen to me because I'm a woman, I just think you don't know me.
As President Barack Obama told an audience in 2008, children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison.
Yes, these facts are true, but you've taken the statistics out of context. The statistics that you've just quoted are all about how it's better to be with both mother and father. It's not about mother or father. It's not saying that you're less likely to go to crime if you're brought up by your father than your mother. No, the statistics are saying that it's better for a child to have both their mother and father in their life. Saying that God is a male is like removing the mother and taking away the feminine side and making sure that people only have a father. These statistics do not in any way say that it's better to be brought up by your father than your mother.
The absence of fathers corresponds with a host of social ills, including dropping out of school and serving time in jail.
If you ask anyone on earth today, who would they rather grow up with between your mother and your father, and you can only be brought up with one of them, not all, but a lot of people, most people would say their mother. Because mothers are better at bringing up children. They're better at making a good person, okay? You need both. But this whole topic is about whether a god should be a male or a female. And you're saying that God should be a male because children need their fathers. Children need their mothers more. That is the true statistic. So if it's a choice of one or the other, it has to be a female. If it's a choice of both, I guess that's a better option. But people believe that there's only one God, so there can't be both. Also, you think the world will be better off believing that God is a male. Look around. People do think that God is a male or masculine. And is the world much better? Is there still crime in this world? Of course. People have used God as an excuse to go to war and to kill people. Do you really think they would have killed people if they would have believed that God is a female? Women don't like war. Men do. If God is a woman, you know that God doesn't like war. If God is a man, well, yeah, of course he could like war, because men like war.
In other words, one's primary goal is a good world, specifically a world with far less murder, child abuse, theft, and rape. God depicted in masculine terms, a father in heaven, not a goddess, a mother in heaven, must be the source of moral commands, such as do not murder and do not steal.
But isn't things like war,
Specifically, murder, child abuse, theft, and rape?
all things that males do? So if God is seen as a male, surely people just think that this is what God likes to do, because it's what males like to do. But women, on the other hand,
Do not murder.
so if God is a woman, then people might be tempted to copy after her, including males, because this God figure is better than all. So surely it would just encourage males to be more feminine.
If the father figure / rule giver that boys need is not on earth, a morally authoritative masculine God can serve as an effective substitute.
Just look at the world today and see how effective your belief has been.
If God were depicted as female, young men would deem traits such as compassion, mercy, and care for the downtrodden as feminine and would not identify with them.
I don't mean to sound sexist, but isn't that what most people already do? I mean, they associate those words with being feminine. So clearly believing that God is all those things hasn't changed how people see males. Also, I'd like to point out how the God of the Bible is not compassionate or merciful or any of those things that you said. It's like you're saying God is all those things. Just read the Bible and you'll see. And if you actually read the Bible, you'd see that actually he's nothing but a vile murderer. In fact, I would say that portraying the God of the Bible as being masculine is actually hurting males and making them more violent, more evil, more aggressive. Why? Because they would read the book, they would see, oh, this God is male and look how evil he is. Okay, therefore it's fine for me to be like him because I'm a male, he's a male, he likes war, therefore I should like war. I think it actually encouraged people to be disgusting because you say how God is a love and God is merciful, but if you read the Bible, you know, the things that he does to his own people because he's angry, punishing them and sending plagues down and getting people to kill all sorts of people, you know, it's clear that that God is evil. And so to associate that God with being male actually makes males more evil because it makes them more like it. You know, if the God was about generally loving people and taking care of them, then maybe it would give males a good name. But God doesn't. God does terrible things to his people. He sacrificed his own son, for fuck's sake. He killed 2 of Judah's sons. He killed 2 of Aaron's sons. He does nothing but killing people. Do you really want to associate that as being a good father? Yes, son, you gotta be a good man like God. He killed Aaron's sons, so you must too. Go off, there's Aaron, go and kill his sons. Why? Because they lit an unauthorized fire. You can't light a fire without permission from God. Come on, go on, sons, be a good man. They must die. The majority of the reasons why you think that it's fine to call God a male is also you sort of saying that it's not good to be a woman, or hence to say like males don't want to be like God because she's a woman.
If God were depicted as female, young men would deem traits such as compassion, mercy, and care for the downtrodden as feminine.
No, if people saw God as a woman, they'd want to be more like a woman. Hence, there'll probably be less problems. Because, you know, a lot of people want to be like God. And if God is a woman, they'd want to be more like a woman. But you saying that God can't be a woman because males need a good influence. And if they see godliness as womanness, you know, they'd hate women more. You know, that's what you're saying.
Would deem traits such as compassion, mercy, and care for the downtrodden as feminine.
That they'll see sort of kindness and compassion as just like things women only do. And therefore they don't need to be like that because they're not a woman. You know, that's what you're saying. God is powerful. God is a woman. God is by most people seen as like the better person. And if God happens to be a male, then people would see the male sex as the better sex, when in reality God should be seen as a female because then females would be seen as a better sex, or a more godly sex, should I say. And people would want to be more like women. You should be proud to be a woman, and you should, if you're a male, be more feminine because it's a good thing. And if women are less violent and, you know, more compassionate towards others, then it would encourage and promote the feminine side and would get people to be like the feminine side. Whereas if you call God a male, you're promoting the male sex and you're actually encouraging violence. You're actually encouraging war, because a lot of these things are the things that men like to do.
But if God, their Father in heaven, who is strong, on occasion even a warrior, cares for the poor and loves justice, mercy, and kindness, then these traits are also masculine and to be emulated. The argument that girls equally need female role models to avoid violence is objectively not true, because the problem of mayhem and violence is overwhelmingly a male one. Of course, girls need female role models, but not to avoid violence. And, like boys, girls are more likely to obey a male authority figure.
That is true. But male authorities are usually evil and want to do terrible things and don't really care about people as much. Do you really want them to listen to a male authority? In the past, they would listen to a male authority. Why? Because that male would be more likely to kill or attack them. And I think that's the reason why God of the Bible can do whatever the fuck he wants, because it's just what males do, you know, they just kill people. It's fine. That's what males do.
Because the problem of mayhem and violence is overwhelmingly a male one.
You must listen to them and obey them.
Because the problem of mayhem and violence is overwhelmingly a male one.
Obey their every command, just like Moses did, and go off and kill thousands of people. Or hundreds of thousands of people, I think it actually was.
A report released by the Minnesota Psychological Association concluded, in a study of female inmates, more than half came from a father-absent home.
Okay, yes, there's more chance of them being in prison if they don't have a father, but imagine if every person in the world never had a mother. How many people do you think would be in a prison cell? So many more people would be in prison if millions of mothers abandoned their children. You could say, like, okay, if a father abandons his child, that person's 20% more likely to go to jail. But imagine if women abandoned their children. What would the percentage be of people in prison cells who had their mothers abandon them? I can't say for certain, but it'll be a lot higher than 20%. I think most people would be suicidal if the mother that gave birth to them had abandoned them. If the father abandons you, you know, it's a bad thing. But if the mother abandons them, isn't that far worse? Because she was the one that actually brought you into this world. If it's a choice between the mother or the father, you have to put the mother first. And stop using the excuse, you need a father. Because people only say you need a father because they know how many fathers walk away from their kids. You don't say you need a mother. Why? Because you just assume that the mother's going to be there, because she usually is.
It is therefore ironic that some women are attempting to render the God of Western religious morality less masculine, because if their goal is achieved, it is women who will suffer most from lawless males.
Fuck you. You just don't want your pride destroyed and have people say to you that actually you're not the best sex, you're the second best sex. You can't handle it. Your pride's getting knocked, hence why you're making this video. Sorry, but it's the truth.
We have too many absent fathers on earth to begin to even entertain the thought of having no father in heaven. I'm Dennis Prager. Thank you for watching this video. To help keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.